Hello, our God reigns. He is the master of the universe. I'm from Kenya, and I thank God because the power in me, the strength, even the energy, and the boldness that you and I manifest has to come from the throne of our God, the creator of heaven and earth. The good books remind us of he who dwells under the shadow of the mighty. He who dwells under the shadow of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the mighty. It's all come from the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 1. I thank God for this moment because today's topics I would request that we base it on asking a question. What causes multitude or even an individual to enter into a situation where you want to just redeem yourself? I hope my question is well understood. Well, what causes someone or even a nation to be in that status of craving to be dependent, to be redeemed? What causes? Okay, there are many causes. One might be under slavery. You might be underprivileged. You might be in a state of vulnerability, and there can never be any other options where you and I are to rest. Resting will be a foreign word to anyone who happen to be in the state that I've just mentioned. Okay? You and I knows that our country, Kenya, attained its independence in the year 1963. What caused all this? Okay, we had our grandparents who had been forced to engage in wars in foreign countries, Burma and Vietnam being one of them. I, for one, I have an uncle who was there for around 10 years. And when these people returned back to our motherland, Kenya, they had fresh ideas. One of these ideas was that they realized that white people are not angels. They do die. They are like us Africans. Okay? That was one thing that made them to crave for their independence. They also realized that the resources they had by then were their wealth. And mind you, during those colonial times, the white settlers had taken over all the mineral resources, all the natural resources that belonged to the Africans. In fact, Africans were not allowed. They were not allowed to grow or even trade or even export tea or coffee. All those were done by the white settlers. But when those who were at war in Vietnam and Burma returned, they had a session to form a group in order for them to redeem themselves, to come out of shame, not to be slaves to the white masters, slave masters. And that is why they formed parties. As we are here, they attained their goals because these are the formed parties that made us to be out of the bondage of slavery. As we are here, Kenya is a sovereign state, but we are not yet out because the leaders we chose as politicians, they collaborated with the modern slavery masters who returned back to a country, terming themselves as investors. And as we are here, they have taken control they've taken control in all part of our areas. They're in minerals, they're in education, they're in agriculture areas, they are in health status. And now they're not working in those institutions that I've just mentioned. They are remote controlling. What I mean is that all what that is going on in these institutions, they must be monitored or manipulated by this modern slavery, the investors who happen to come from Western countries. It's a big deal, and it's weird. We don't know how it all end up because, mind you, my country Kenya has its own constitution. I've indicated that it's a sovereignty country, but on how the politicians are playing all those cards is what matters. As we are here, vicious cycles of poverty has skyrocketed. It's in high magnitude, and we are back to square one, where we used to be ruled and trampled. We are ruled and trampled by the colonial masters. This time around, I've decided to make up this video because I know at least there's a ray of light at the end of the tunnel. Since since 25th of June this year, a young group just emerged of Generation Z, and as we are here, a party has been formed by the name Inject. What is the meaning of injecting? We are revisiting each and every county. I indicated that you happen to have 47 counties from my country, and we are engaged in civic education. We are trotting in each and every these counties, trying to check the type of projects that our politicians are claiming to have siphoned our money to. Because we do pay taxes, we have revenue, but how it is spent is another issue. There's no clear accountability on how our money is being spent. So as we are here, there's a takeover from this Generation Z group, being assisted by the millennial and others, the adults who happen to come from Generation X and boomers. We are also assisting them. We have high hope that my country is coming out of this pandemic. It's a pandemic. Having evil policies attracts genocides status, and that is where we are. There are some families in my country that are going to bed with empty stomachs. Their children are not attending schools. There's a zero cash flow in my country. All these, we don't know how it all started, but as we move on, and as each and every individual from my country is involved in counter-checking as to how things are moving on, we have a high hope of transformation. The strategic plan being fixed in will aid us, and we are coming back to where we have desired to be. In their campaigning session and electioneering, I remember one of them, a very senior person, a prominent man, just altered that if we happen to have elected him as the top man in the office, he would have allowed each and every Kenyan citizen to be receiving 6,000 Kenya shillings per month. And mind you guys, this is possible because my country, my mother country, Kenya, is rich. We have mineral resources. Each and every Kenyan citizen is a hard worker. And mind you, the budget that is collected in daily basis is around 2 billion, but it's all stolen. So it's an awakening call. We are back to where we started. I've indicated that our forefathers went to assist in wars in Vietnam and Burma, and when they returned, they had to fully package our country because they were more enlightened on governance issues. And that is where we are. You and I, as a Kenyan, we have to be there. Blame games won't help anyone because the politicians we have at hand, they have collaborated into looting. They love to be corruptible. They go to a point of even asking a bribe from a child or even the vulnerable people. They are not in a hurry to create system that will cater for the taxes that we are giving them in daily basis. They're just looting and forwarding them to their offshore account in foreign countries. This has to stop because we have noticed where we are at, and we are in a hurry to transform and put into order our house. We want our country to be the way it should be, because it is possible. We realize it is possible. As we are here, as you are here, You and I should be in a hurry to perform a civic education starting from your village level. Talk to your aunt, talk to your uncle, talk to that illiterate drunkard man or even a woman who has a tendency of getting drunk each and every time. Let's tell each other the truth, because this is where we are to go back to our divine solence that our God has given unto us. Mind you, each and every time I always indicate that when a child is born, you are fully packaged, and God has given you what is bound to be yours in form of wealth. But on the way, the evil power is always following people to a point of taking what God has given unto us, our wealth included, our health, or what the precious gift that we have been given unto from our God. And this time around, we are shielding what belongs unto us. We are, because we've been drifted. We've been drifted and shifted far away from the reality. And this has to stop in order for us to extend the life expectancy of ourselves and the upcoming generation. It's all done and coded, and that is the truth. We thank Jehovah.